Well, hello everyone, this is Jeff Clark with a very special unboxing video today. Today I'm going to be unboxing this model. And this particular model was the first aircraft model that I purchased. I got this a few years ago after I flew to Malaysia. And I had seen this video of one of 777 Diehards Forever's videos of his unboxing of this particular model after I'd come back, and I had absolutely fallen in love with that model. And because I had flown this 100th A380, I was just so amazed and excited to realize there was a model, and that's kind of what birthed for me this whole interest in models and buying and unboxing them, because until I'd seen that video I really didn't even know that models like this existed. So it was really a cool moment, and I've done a number of unboxing videos since then and never actually did a video of this one when I got it. So I'm going to do that today. I wanted to do it on my anniversary of my 380th subscriber, but I just didn't have the time to do it. So here we are doing it now. It's also interesting that this was the 100th Airbus A380 that was delivered, and today is also the day that Emirates has taken delivery of its 100th A380. So in that period of time we've come quite a long ways with the A380, and this one is a really exciting one to have. This is a JC Wings model. This is JCW XX2592. It's also listed as JC2 MAS 592. These are long since sold out and discontinued. They only made 199 of them. There is one available on eBay I saw today, but it's around $250 US. This one I paid, I think, around $150 for, and I got this from the Aviation Megastore in the Netherlands, which had a few of them in stock, but obviously that's been some time. I got this one in sometime in February of 2014, so a few years ago. So it does have the oversized stand with the JC Wings plate on there. Really nice to see that. It also has the 100th A380, which is really cool. It's got the Malaysia Airlines and the Bulan, the moon kite on there, which is kind of cool. That's a symbol of Malaysia, so they've actually integrated that into their livery. So Malaysia Airlines was formed in 1937 as Malayan Airways Limited in Singapore and began passenger service in 1947 when they actually began operations. The name was changed to Malaysian Airways in 1963 when the Federation of Malaysia was formed between Malaya, Singapore, Sabah, and Sarawak. And in 1966, Singapore split from the Federation, and the airline became Malaysia Singapore Airlines, or MSA. Then the airline was again split in 1972, and two airlines were formed for that. One, Malaysia Airlines Systems, or MAS, which is what it is today, and then also Singapore Airlines. So the formation of a couple of really major airlines at that time. Very interesting. So let's take this out of the box. And this is by far the heaviest model that I have. It is very, very stout. It's about 6 or 7 pounds, so it's very heavy. Put this box down here. Very impressive model, and being able to have flown on this exact aircraft really is a nice feature. So this livery, the Bulan, was integrated into it in sometime in the 70s, and the Bulan is a moon kite, as I mentioned earlier, and one of the Malaysia's national symbols. And this one's based on the cat kite. So there's been a number of different liveries which have included the Bulan. So in 1987, the kite was stretched a little bit and also swept back. It was also painted with red on the top and blue on the bottom. The livery was updated again in 2010 with a more swept back look, and then also in 2012 a new livery was debuted with the flowing lines, and instead of there being the cheat lines down the side, there's these more streaks going off the side of the aircraft, and that's in the fleet other than the A380. So the A380 for them has its own unique livery, which is an all blue livery, which is what you see here. And Malaysia Airlines has 6 of these A380s, which they run 2 a days, London to Kuala Lumpur, and that's the route that I took, and then one a days to Charles de Gaulle and Paris, and to Kuala Lumpur, which is their hub, Kuala Lumpur International Airport, which, if you haven't seen pictures of it, is a really neat looking airport inside. And I had the pleasure of spending many hours there when my flight was delayed on the way back, which is when I flew this particular aircraft, which was on January 27th of 2014. So I did get a nice picture as I walked in this L2 door of the 100th A380. So really nice to have been on this one. So let's have a look here. So as I said, this model is very heavy. I have one other A380, and it's a Gemini Jets Qantas, and it's of course about the same weight. But this one is a older model that came out in 2013 release, and has not been released again since. So, but we've got nice detail. The nose of the A380 is very unique looking, and it has a sort of a somewhat pinched area in front of or above the cockpit windows. See if we can kind of see that a little bit better. And we have nice detail of the static port here, and then we have pilot tubes as well, pitot tubes, excuse me. The L1 door, which I believe is a seldom used door in this particular aircraft. Most passengers are entering through the L2 door because first class is right here. They only have 8 seats in first class, and then economy starts basically right here. So, and then for the rest of the lower deck is all economy seating. The upper deck has economy seating in this rear portion, and then the rest is all business class. So there is 8 first class seats, and then 420 economy seats from the L2 door to the L5 door, and on the other side, of course. Then economy seats up here in the rear portion of the aircraft. This is actually the galley section. Then here is where the business class seats are, and there are 66 of those for a total of 494 passengers. So when I flew out, I was in 71 H71, which is way back here in the rear portion of the aircraft, essentially almost to the very tail end of the aircraft. I was in an aisle seat, so, and that was in a time before I took videos and such. Then on the way back, I flew on this particular aircraft, and I sat in 44H, which is the third window past this door. I also had the aisle seat, but the girl that was in the window was kind enough to let me lean over and take some pictures, so I'll put those up too. So we have the partial registration here on the nose gear door. The registration on this is 9M-MNF. This was the 6th A380 that Malaysia Airlines has, and the registrations run from 9M-MNA through F. The one I flew out from Heathrow was 9M-MNC, also in the exact same livery, but just not the 100th A380. And there's some amazing footage from Farnborough in 2012. You can see where Peter, I can't remember his last name right now, but the test pilot for Airbus really put this thing through its paces, this aircraft. Not this particular registration, but it's amazing to watch something that is this size go through the air in that fashion. Really just mind-boggling to see it, just the noise and the sounds. This aircraft's maximum takeoff weight is 575 tons. That's a huge amount of weight. It's the world's largest commercial airliner. It can handle up to 853 passengers, which is just an incredible number. And they're also leasing these out for the annual Hajj. So it's been flying to, I think it's in Medina. So that's where they've been using it to just kind of haul as many passengers at once as possible. As some of you may know, Malaysia is a majority Muslim country, so there is a number of events that their folks want to go attend. So we got the L2 door. As I said, this is the first class section, so there is a lot of block out of the windows because there's not that many seats on this side. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle, and then 5, 6 in the middle as well, and then 7, 8 on the other side. So there's really a very small first class section. When I was flying, there was nobody in the first class section, so the flight attendant let me go up there and take some pictures and look out the window and such like that for a few minutes. Big static port here. There's no inboard landing lights here in the wing. This is kind of, I think, preceding the period when that was being done routinely. So I think that's a newer feature that we've seen on these models coming out. Same thing with the nose gear. I can't see if there's any jewels in there. I don't think there is. We don't have the jewel lights for the anti-collision beacons as we see in some of the newer models. Although we do have the SATCOM antenna, which is raised, so that's in 3D. We have a VHF antenna, and again, we have a VHF antenna, and again here. This aircraft does have a tail cam, so it's really nice to look out the window of an A380 when you're taking off, especially from London Heathrow. The wings are really nicely done. You've got this beautiful coating on the surface of the wing there to give it a very realistic look. There is a warning here that says do not walk outside this area. If you're wearing the right kind of glasses, you can actually read where it says that. So that's kind of interesting to see how they get that much detail. The flap track fairings all have the red tips painted on them. Really nice execution here of the fuel dump valve. It's just such a tiny little thing, but it's really nicely done here. If I can get it to focus on that, that'd be great. There we go. Very cool looking. And then you've got your ailerons, your spoilers, and your flaps. All look great. The slats are all alternately painted as well. On the underside of the wing, we've got the registration 9M-MNF. Excellent detail of the ailerons and spoilers. They're grooved, so they really look very, very realistic, which is what we want, really. The landing gear does tilt. It does roll. They're not removable, though. Same thing with these. They can be adjusted a little bit, but they don't come out. It does have a nice in-flight posture. If you can get the wheels all at the right angle, or landing posture. It's a real good look there. It's probably the most angle I've got on any of my models, so it's nice to be able to give it that sort of adjusted look, give it really realistic feel. I think actually these wheels point forward, but I can't remember. Someone I'm sure will let me know. So this aircraft has, for its engines, it has the Rolls-Royce 972s, or the 970, excuse me, 970B-84s. These produce 78,300 pounds of thrust, which is quite a lot, as you can tell. They're $35 million a piece, so they should do their job. Unit cost on this, $436 million. That's a wow. I think they let them go a little bit cheaper than that, just to increase the sales. The A380 has this split wingtip device here. We've got a navigation light, our red navigation light on the wingtip there. And I think you can also see the strobe, which I believe is right next to it. And then there'd be a position light on the tail here of the wing. So back to the port side here. So again, we have our registration there. And the real aircraft doesn't have this continuous, it actually has a break in it. So that's one thing that they didn't get quite right, because it doesn't actually continue through there like that. Then we have the auxiliary power unit on the tail. We also have the same do not walk outside this area warning. The little circle here, this is the intake for the auxiliary power unit. And the nozzle, the exhaust nozzle for the APU right here, it looks really nice. It's totally just a different color. It looks like it's a completely different metal, so it gives it it's not painted color, it's an actual separate piece, so that looks really neat. Very cool. Auxiliary power unit access doors here underneath. Behind these doors on just above the tail there. The moon kite on the tail. And this tail is just massive. I mean, the height of this aircraft is 79 feet. Length is 238 feet. Wingspan 261 feet. Just unbelievable. Now it does have this little mark in the paint here on the tail. I will confess that I did that when I was cleaning it. I use a paint brush basically to brush down my models if they are sitting out of the side of the cabinet. So, and when I was doing that one day, I just nicked it with the metal part of the brush. Let's look at the starboard side here. And Malaysia Airlines is a member of One World, so you do see the One World logo here. And also on the other side, we've got our 100th A380 here. Cargo loading door with its mechanism. Lots of really good detail there. Really nice. Over here we've got our green navigation light. And our double wingtip. They now have the A380 Plus, which they've changed the wingtip design. And the wingtip is designed basically to just disrupt the airflow across the end of the wing, which usually creates drag. This breaks that airflow up and gives increases the range of the aircraft and allows it to fly more smoothly. Again, this thing is heavy. It's hard to hold it up by yourself after a few minutes with one hand. And the engine work is really nice. There's really good detail. Notice that the livery, the paint work on each of the two engines is slightly different. That is correct. Some of the smaller models, if they're just sort of more gimmicky kind of models, they don't pay attention to that. But we've got lots of detail of the radius warnings in the red, as in telling individuals to watch out for the intake, and lots of detail of the cowling operation. Yeah, the A380 has a thrust reverser only on the inboard engine, not on the outboard engine. And the exhaust is very nicely done. This is pre the days of bluing of the engines, of the exhaust that model manufacturers are starting to do now, which is a really cool feature. Underside, we've got more illumination lights, more antennas. Straighten up this. The Naka ducts, the intakes. We have exhaust for the AC units here. Some scratching you can see around the hole for the stand, even though it does have a pad on it. It just, I think it just vibration of the cabinet that it sits in has caused it to slowly get scratched up a little bit, but you can see what that pad is for now. There is another antenna down here in this blue area, but as I said, that blue area doesn't exist on the real aircraft. You can see the cargo loading door in the rear as well, and then you've got the bulk loading door here next to the cargo door. And again, the registration. And then we've got a few more ports here. I'm not sure what their purpose is, or if they're antennas or what they may be. They're kind of hard to see there. And of course our other wing has the fuel dump valve there as well. Nicely done. And the wheels look really nice as well. They kind of have a little sparkle to them. And the model looks really good. It's as I said, it's quite heavy. It's very stout. It looks really good on the stand or just on the shelf. I've had it sort of sitting on my desk next to where I work, and also in the cabinet where it has its own strength there as well. Now this aircraft is serial number 114. It's a A380-841. Its first flight was on the 29th of October in 2012 and was delivered in that following March on the 14th of 2013. As I said, it runs on the Trent 970B-84, and it's a member of One World as of 2013. Well, let's get this stand put on here, and we'll see how she looks. I guess my foam piece came off. So the model is quite large, as you can see, so you need to have a good solid stand, and this one definitely is. I've had some issues with stands before, not really being in the greatest condition or having various issues, but this one does a nice job. It's very stout. It holds the model nice and straight. There's no real wobbling around, which is really good to see. And of course, I adjust sometimes the pitch or the attitude of the aircraft by bending this upright of the stand, just so that it can kind of have the same angle of attack as the other aircraft in the model, or the other aircraft in the cabinet, so that they look kind of the same. So let's have a look at the fan blades here. And the engines do have the engine strake there, which is a small blade that, as the aircraft is in certain attitudes during takeoff and landing, that piece actually generates lift up and over the wing. That's what you see when you're looking out the window of the aircraft and you see that little spiral of air come right up over the wing from the engine. That's what that is. all spin really good. They got the spinners painted on them as well in the center of the fan. So nice to see those are all in working order. So I guess there's no question that I really like this model. It is an amazing one to have. It's the first one in my collection and really got what got me started in this particular hobby, I guess. It's nice to have planes that you've flown on, and this one was a good start to get going with. Again, I was just really shocked to see that the plane I had been on, which was my second A380 ride in my life, was actually available as a model, and I could have that memory there. So that's really cool to do something like that. I guess if you guys enjoy models and these modeling videos, then it might be time to start your own collection as well. I mean, there's some amazing models and some different scales out there, pretty much for every budget and every appeal. So I think that it's definitely a worthwhile activity. These 1/200 scales are beyond my expectations in terms of how amazing they look. I think they're the best scale to have because I think they offer the greatest detail and the largest size, even though they are a bit more pricey, but they're definitely something pleasant to look at in your home. So I appreciate you guys for watching my videos and commenting or liking or anything that you do. It's a fun activity. So you guys take care, and thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you next time.